I'm trying to not be dramatic, but I don't think I have ever seen any Nat 5 lose this much in RTA. I've been watching battles from Shun the Light Shadowcaster for weeks now. He seems like a good unit on paper, so I was very excited for him. And the reason we haven't seen any videos of him on this channel is because I have been watching his battles. I'm like, oh, this person clearly is not very good with him. And then I go take a look at some other battles from another person. I'm like, clearly this person is not very good with him. Next one, clearly this person. And I'm like, wait a second. If this guy has like a 10% win rate, something's up. I don't know. He is like a Pungbek, kind of. So right here, that is exactly what he does. By the way, he's a support unit. That's why he doesn't do that kind of crazy damage. He has a second skill that binds all of the enemies together. So we kind of saw what he does. That's his big thing. His second skill combined with his third skill, which is a passive. And his second and third skill combined didn't really do anything too crazy. I mean, maybe that's what we should expect from a support unit. Well, let's actually go through, because he's gonna lose this battle in a second. But we'll go through and we'll take a look exactly what his skills do. But for the most part, it's fairly lackluster, as we've already kind of seen. So here he is in all of his brand new LD5 glory, Shun the Light Shadowcaster. He is a support unit. That's right, he's a support unit. He's got 11,370 base HP. He's got 758 attack. He's got 626 defense. He's got 105 speed. So none of those stats are necessarily bad. However, for a support unit, 758 attack is not bad. However, he also kind of is a damage dealer, so 758 attack. Plus, this is not a crazy... this is how he does his damage, his dizzying gesture. It's not such a crazy multiplier, so that's kind of... It's got a 3.8 multiplier, and then the, support-based stat of attack being 758. He's not really doing any crazy obliterating the entire enemy team damage. Let's say, just for comparison, he's got 758. The other ones have 845, 889, 714, but he's also support. And then this one is 867. And then there's some units that are... Oh, that's not the one we're looking at. And then there's some other units that are higher attack power, like the Phoenixes and things like that. Let's take a look at the... I don't know if I already mentioned, but the multiplier for skill 1, which is his damage dealing skill, is 3.8. So it's not anything crazy. It's a skill 1, but it's not anything crazy. We have Shadow Tie. So ties the enemy... Think about this like Pungbek. He basically... passively turns the battlefield into a Pungbek type situation for another unit to come in and do big damage and then do the splash damage on the enemies. So ties the enemy shadow and grants an effect that gives 30% of the first hit damage to all enemies. If you deal single target skill damage to the target, this effect can tie one target at a time, gets untied of the target. Tied target gets hit by a single target attack, or if you get defeated, it does not apply to boss health. I'm thinking about this, my girlfriend. Anytime she goes into Guild Wars, she looks at the enemy's skills, and she's like, I don't want to read all this. How am I supposed to know what it does? I'm like, well, you should read all of that beforehand instead of, right before every guild battle and not know what the units do. She's like, well, I don't have time for that. So, not everyone is a no-lifer Summoner's War 24/7 player. But this basically ties all the units together so that the one target that you attack does splash damage and does a little bit of damage to the other enemies as well, right? So this Infinity Shadow passive ignores defense when attacking a target tied by the shadow, and the shadowy tied won't get untied even if the enemy takes damage. So he's like a light Pungbek, but he kind of needs the setup, and then it's kind of more... He's a light Pungbek, but he's a support unit, and he requires more setup to do it. I mean, you saw it. They tied the enemy team, and then they started doing other stuff. They weren't even attacking the primary target to do this splash damage. They were like, we're gonna wait for Shun to get his next turn, and then he's gonna be the one that does the damage. This way, he does ignore defense damage. That was the game plan there. But he's not obliterating anything. Let's see some more matches. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what he does. Talk about what he does before we see anything else, and he looks like he's straight out of Kingdom Hearts, seriously. Different player, left-hand side, going for more of an aggressive team. Right-hand side, going for more passive. So we have a very passive-aggressive battle going on here. I'll see myself out. I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. I'm sorry. It's not a passive aggressive battle, or maybe it is. I don't know. Let's see. We got the Dragon's Dance. Okay. Now he's gonna Shadow tie Ciara, and then what does he do now? I mean, he doesn't get another. I don't know if they're running him. I would assume that they're running him on Violent because everything's run on Violent, and then. Okay, something comes back because Nana, right? It didn't obliterate everything. It's basically setting up the battlefield. And then his passive didn't do anything because Laika was the one that attacked, so his passive it didn't get like any ignored defense, anything. It just Laika's next attack did splash damage to the team, and Nana exists, and therefore Nana exists. Next match, player on the left-hand side is going more aggressive. Looks like the player on the right-hand side is going for more of a bruiser team. It looked like they were going to go shield will, and then they decided against it and started bringing some units with passives in. Player on the left-hand side only had one strip, though, which, okay. So, this one is looking like he's on a damage dealer build. Even though he's a support unit, it's looking like they have him as a squishy damage dealer because he already took a decent amount of damage. He got the Shadow Tie on there, but he does have an attack power break. Does he move before Tiana moves? She's got the slow. She got the attack gauge decrease. Is he going to be alive? He is alive. That was no damage. He did no damage. That was very, very little damage. I don't know how else to say it. Pequeño damage. This player we saw a little bit of previously. We saw one match of previously. So he's going to... I don't think he should have picked the Water Shadowcaster first pick. I feel like if he's going to pick that comp, he should pick the Molly first. That just... Because if you pick the Water Shadowcaster, all you have to do is be like, okay, I'm just going to control that. I'm just going to CC that, right? So, let's see. He gets bombed, and then he gets dead. So we're not really seeing it. Let's just skip to the next match since we're not really seeing much of him since he's now dead. Next match, different player. Player on the left-hand side is going more aggressive. Going more aggressive. Player on the right-hand side has decided it's 2017 and they need an arena defense. I'm sorry. Maybe it's a good bet. It's just if he's ever had a chance that got resisted. Oh, well, that's not fun. Okay. So, now he just gets... It's not bad enough that his damage isn't good enough. He now is just getting RNG'd. So, now they have to wait to try to tie him some more. Fantastic. So, are we going to see an Ariel Camila team beat a brand new LD5? That's a good question. I suppose we'll find out. I mean, they could have just not done that skill, or maybe they didn't think that he had made that mistake before, not realizing that the Moore has his cooldowns. I am guilty of that. Okay, so Heavenly Sword. Are they going to be able to make something happen? I really want to see. They're just getting screwed by RNG at this point. We can't even see. Comptuous has decided that even if you had a chance with Shun, the Light Shadowcaster, they're gonna make sure that you don't have a chance. Even if you had a chance, you don't have a chance now. He got. Jeez. Okay. That I felt pain there. I watched that and I felt genuine pain. Another match, another player. That's the thing. Like, this is we're not even just looking at like one player that's like using him wrong or ruined him bad or whatever. We're looking at a whole bunch of different players. I know you're thinking like, well, why aren't you showing the wins? That's the thing. It's a very consistent. He's lost, win, lost. It's very consistent. He's very, no matter who's playing him, it's very consistent that he's not doing that well. That's and I feel that maybe we should address it if he's not winning too much. He's got a pretty ridiculous loss rate. Why did that not kill him? Oh, cause Leo. Cause they nerfed their own Barbara with Leo. Oh my god. Torrent for 80,000 damage. Okay, so he is on Vampire and he is a damaged Leo. That's what we've learned from this. So, additional turn, Shadow Tie. They got the Shadow Tie. So we know it's a squishy Leo. Let's see some craziness. We know that Leo can deal 80,000 ignored defense. This one, 24,000 ignored defense. I mean, at least it did ignore defense, but it wasn't like... Leo's just making it look bad. Leo's just making it look bad. Also, why'd they pick the Barbara and the Leo together? Oh, hiya. One of these days, we're going to see him do just something amazing. Maybe today is the... Well, maybe this match. Maybe this match solidifies that today's the day. So bans the attack power buffer. Still has 3 units that can do damage on that team. So one team's a... Nice strips on the water unit, which was fantastic. So he is tied, however, he didn't get an additional turn or anything, and now he is dead. So now, maybe this match will not be the one where we see Shun do anything ridiculous, since he is already dead. That's the thing, though. Like, I know we can just skip on to the next match now, which we probably should, but the thing is, like, he needed another turn to do anything crazy, or one of the other damage dealers on the team needed a turn to do something crazy, and no one got a turn, and then he died because he's a support unit, but he needs to be squishy to do some damage, but he's squishy means he dies if he doesn't get a turn right away. So maybe Comtrus will buff and they'll just be like, oh, he instantly gets another turn after he does his skill 2. That would change things. That really would change things. Next match, I think we saw one match from this guy before on the left-hand side. I was not expecting Cigar into an Oliver first pick. That was a little bit odd. Bans the Cigar. Okay, well, at least people are understanding that he's a pretty decent unit. He's kind of a mixture between, like, Oki, Gani-ish type of unit as far as, like, the cooldowns. So let's see what kind of crazy stuff happens. Are they actually able to... Watch, he does nothing. That would be the best. No, that wouldn't be the best. We don't want to see that. That'd be the best thing if he just does nothing and they win with Oliver. They're going to just win with Oliver, aren't they? They're just going to win. This is just going to be an Oliver showcase. Hold on, guys. We figured it out. Yep, we figured it out. If you bring him in with Oliver, he can actually win. Wait, will he win? Gets the provoke. Shadow Tie. Okay. Resistance. Why even bother hitting him? It's not like he's doing anything. Like, yeah, I'm going to attack that thing. Why? Why? Oh, my God. So, he effectively did nothing. They did technically win with Shun. I don't know how much of it was Shun doing anything, but technically, this would be a positive for Shun. This adds to his win rate. What I meant to say was this adds to his win rate. We're just going to take another look at the same guy as the last one because clearly he is the chosen one. He is the Shun master. He's the only one that's able to actually win with this unit. So we want to see what exactly he's doing. Bans the Nana, bans the CR. He still has multiple sources of strip on that team for his bombs. Just kidding. He has no sources of strip because Shung Peng decided to not come into work today. So gets tied. That is an AoE, so it doesn't untie the units. And then he blasts over there. And that is the one that unties right there. The more skill one. So Shun actually helped do things today. I don't know that this was necessary. Honestly, I feel like he would have won with anything. In this situation, I don't think it was Shun specifically that won him the match. And I think maybe the Water Ryu won him the match. Between the Water Ryu and the yeah. I don't think Shun really did too much, but it was still a Shun win. So there's that. Honestly, this unit, I bet, again, like I said, it's not like I'm trying to show you guys losses because like, oh, I just want to show you guys losses and not wins with the unit. It's just like I have been looking at this unit's battles for weeks now, and I've noticed a consistent trend that he loses a lot. He loses a lot, and I think that after a buff that makes him do more damage or get an additional turn after the fact, then that's going to change things, right? That's going to change things. That's going to make him, he's going to be much more effective. But as it is for right now, he gonna need to be in a buff in the next balance patch or a balance patch coming up. I am just throwing this out there. I think that we should see all the losses that this guy is actually pulling out instead of just, oh, let's just show the wins that are like 10% of the matches that he's in. He's just not doing very well. And I just want to be honest. So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoy. You guys know I want to see LD5 wins. Just here's the thing. If you're going up against Shun in RTA, don't ban him. You don't really need to. That's it for this one. See you as always. Unless you're watching this after a balance patch and he's like ridiculously crazy OP, then probably ban him. Anyway, that's it for this one. See you as always in the next one.